Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Today is 16th April, is that right? And first of all, I like to welcome all of you to the Mangal Aarti, Tulsi Aarti and morning programs. Thank you for coming. So 16th April 1970, Srila Prabhupada spoke this in the Los Angeles. I am going to read that, Srila Prabhupada's words. We may discover so many defending instruments or weapons, but there is no defense from the cruel hands of death. However, you may be advanced in manufacturing so many nice things, you cannot manufacture anything that can save you from death, or from disease, or from old age. I will read the Hindi version of this Prabhupada's teachings, then I will speak with all of you in English. हम कितने भी अस्त्र शस्त्रों की खोज क्यों ना कर लें, किंतु मृत्यु के क्रूर हाथों से अपनी रक्षा नहीं कर सकते। विभिन्न वस्तुओं के निर्माण में अपने कितने भी प्रगति क्यों ना कर ली हो, आप ऐसा कुछ नहीं बना सकते जो आपकी मृत्यु, बीमारी अथवा वृद्धावस्था से रक्षा करे। So devotees, this day 16th April 1970, Prabhupada gave these teachings which are very important for all of us to understand. Everybody can hear me? So, Prabhupada is touching this point. Then materially we may discover so many defending instruments or weapons. But there is no defense from the cruel hands of death. Death is certain. We should always remember that. In that chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita, verse 9, Lord Sri Krishna is saying, Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukh doshan darshanam. Birth, Lord is saying birth, old age, death, disease, problems, one should see them. Why Lord is recommending these to see them? Because one day we are all going to face this. Haribol. We are all going to face death. Nobody can escape from death. Material speaking, a person may be millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, fortunaire, but he cannot avoid death. So, what we should be doing then? If death is inevitable, they are saying, as sure as death. Death is sure. Other things may be sure or maybe not sure. But inevitable death is sure. So what we should be doing for that? Only one thing, that is becoming Krishna conscious. Death will come for everybody, for a king, for a poor man, for a man, for a woman, for a white, for a black, for a brown, for a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, will come for everybody. So, what we should do? we should come to the shelter of Krishna. Then what will happen? Oh, Krishna will protect us from that? No. If we become pure devotee of Krishna, I will turn off this fan. If we become pure devotee of Krishna, and if we are able to remember Krishna at the time of death, then what will happen? We will go to Krishna. We will go to the spiritual world. Devotees, brothers and mothers, remember, this material world is not our home. Sooner or later we shall be kicked out of here. Me, you, he, she, nobody can stay. If we are not conscious of Krishna, we are not able to remember Krishna at the time of death, then what will happen? We will attain to that stage whatever we will be remembering at the time of death. Bring the English Gita, chapter 8. So that is very dangerous situation. Prabhupada has explained suppose if one is remembering one's wife, oh my wife, then next body will be woman's body. No, is it that same text? Yes, you're right. If one is remembering his home, one is too attached to his home, then next body will come to that home. He may come as a cockroach or as a mouse or something else. Prabhupada tells one story. There was one rich man, and he died. He died, and next birth he became a cobbler. And where his palatial home was there in previous birth, in front of that home, he set up his, what do you call, repairing the shoes. So his sons came to know that a cobbler has come in front of our home. They beat him up severely and get out from here. They didn't know he is their father. So our attachment should be only with Krishna. Devotees remember, the home of this material world is not our home. But out of ignorance, I am attached to this miserable material world. I am attached to this material home. So we should be only attached to Sri Krishna, so that at the time of departing from this material world we can remember. Once Srila Prabhupada was giving lecture in Nairobi, Kenya. I stayed in that part of the world for almost 6 years. And Prabhupada was talking on this subject that if one can remember Krishna at the time of death, he will attain Krishna. He will go to the Golok Vrindavan, to the Vaikuntha Loka. So one Gujarati gentleman was sitting. He raised his hand. He said, Swamiji, this is very good. Prabhupada said, what's that? During your lifetime you eat, drink and be merry, and at the time of death you think of Krishna and you will go to him. Prabhupada said, if during your lifetime you're busy in merry-making, eat, drink and be merry, then you cannot think of Krishna at the time of death. It's horrible, it's very, very difficult to remember Krishna at the time of death. So, to remember Krishna by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, during our lifetime, we should practice very sincerely. Prabhupada mentioned in one lecture that in New York, very busy city, so many people. People are busy working. Sometimes people work 16 hours. And what for they work? For money. They accumulate wealth, money, and then they want to enjoy. He may buy a house also, he may buy a car. But whatever he has accumulated during his lifetime, what is going to go with him? Nothing. What to speak of going, beautiful wife, children, home, bank balance, limousine, anything of this material world. Even this body doesn't belong to us. This body it belongs to crematorium. We claim that this is my body. No, this is not my body. What is that which is claiming this is my body? That is I, Jivatma, soul. We don't say I body. No, we say my body. It means I is different than the my. I is soul within this body. Actually, there are 8,400,000 different species of life. So, there are 400,000 human species also. Different kinds of 400,000. 8,400,000 human species and 8 million others, reptiles, living in the water, birds, and, 4 legs animals. There are 8 million. So this body specially connected with India. Through the whole world, culture is only in India. There is also declining because this Western certification, India was known as a golden sparrow. First Muslim came, they invaded India, stole everything from there and forcefully converted people into Islam. And they did for 800 years. And then they finish up their karma, bad karma. They have to get out. 800 years they ruled because they broke the temple, they broke the deities, they tortured the devotees, they killed the cows. Their karma took them back. Then Britishers came. They ruled India for 200 years. So these Muslims, Prabhupada mentioned that they have harmed our culture very much. Not Muslims, Britishers, 200 years. Muslims also did, but these Britishers, they brought this prostitution, wine, and smoking, tea, co-education. These all dirty things were brought by the Britishers in India. Lord Sri Krishna, he says in Bhagavad Gita, Swardam Sarvabhutanam, I am the well-wisher of everyone. By the mercy of Lord Sri Krishna, he sent his pure devotee Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada, in a short time, spread this Krishna consciousness all over the world. Sincere souls has this opportunity to be Krishna conscious and perfect their life. So, death, we should always remember that. Lord Sri Krishna is recommending in the 13th chapter, verse 9, Janma Mritu Jarabhyadi Dukha Doshan Udarshanam. Lord is recommending, and Prabhupada, Lord Sri Krishna's pure devotee, is also guiding us. As I refer you one person in Nairobi who said that you can remember Krishna at the time of death, you will go to him. During your lifetime, you enjoy. So Prabhupada replied that during your lifetime, if you are after material enjoyment, then you cannot remember Krishna at the time of death. You will only remember those enjoyment and go to hell. There you will be punished very severely. So it's the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse 5. Krishna is saying, Antakale cha mameva smarana muktva kalevaram ya priyati samad bhavam yatin sadyatra sanshaya. And whenever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. But we should not think that it's easy to remember Krishna at the time of death. No. We will remember our sinful activities, whatever sins I have committed during my lifetime. Unless I haven't atoned them, I will remember them. So, message is today Srila Prabhupada Shikshamrit, that death cannot be avoided, death is inevitable, and one should become Krishna conscious. One should live in such a way that never forget Krishna. Never. All the time remembering Krishna. In this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. Anyone who quits his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transformed to the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. This is the purpose of life. The Supreme Lord is the purest of pure. Krishna is all pure. Very important point. Krishnas are pure. Therefore, anyone who is constantly Krishna conscious is also the purest of the pure. One who is thinking of Krishna all the time, he is also the purest of the pure. Simply by thinking of Krishna, we can become pure. I will tell you one thing happens. I know in this country, maybe also journalists in every country. There is one insect. It's called bring in Indian language. Bring. In this insect, it has a blue color, and there is no male, female, only male, no female. So then, how his progeny increase, how his family increase? So what this insect does, he is very expert insect. He makes the hole. He will go and get some wet clay and make the hole. 4 holes. I have seen the whole process in India. Make the hole, and now he will go and catch any other insect. It's very powerful. Catch any insect. If he can fly, then otherwise by pulling, he bring that insect there and push him in that hole. And close the hole from the outside. Put some clay there and close the hole. What happens when this bring catch the other insect? Then other insect is very fearful because he is very powerful. Bring is very powerful. But he doesn't kill that insect, just scared him. And he becomes very fearful and put him in that hole and close the hole. What happens? Inside the hole, this insect is called keet, constantly thinking of a bring, gradually becomes the bring he attains his body because he is always thinking of the bring. This is an example in this material world. Similarly, if we think of Krishna all the time, not attached to anything of this material world, and while we are in this material world, guidance is there from the scripture how we should live. Just like this lotus flower lives in the mud, but no effect of the mud on the lotus flower, lotus petal. Even some water will fall on the lotus petal, it has no effect on that lotus petal. Though it's in the mud, but it is separate from the mud. Similarly, we are in this material world, which is compared with the clay, with the mud. We should be detached. We should not be attached to anything of this material world. We should only attach to Krishna. I was giving the example of people working in New York. By working hard, they make lots of money. Then what happens? When that person dies, he has accumulated a good amount of wealth. He becomes attached to that. But he cannot take anything with him. He is thinking, oh, what is going to happen to my wealth, my bank balance? What is going to happen to my limo? And that attachment is going to bring back to this miserable material world. Actually, it is described in the scripture, time of death is very, very fearful. There is one Mataji, she is in Vancouver, Canada. She was working as a nurse So once she was in the lecture, and a similar topic was going on, and she mentioned that I have seen the real Canada. I said, what do you mean by seeing the real Canada? She said, I have seen so many people dying. So what happened? When the Yamdutas, the soldiers of the superintendent of that, they call Yamdutas. When they come and when they see them, they scream and yell, horrified. So this topic was very long. Maybe we can continue tomorrow, but there are two other festivals that are also today. First is Hanuman Jayanti. Today is the appearance day of Hanumanji Maharaj. Hanuman Jayanti Maha Mahotsav ki. Why everybody is not responding, Jai? Hanuman Jayanti Maha Mahotsav ki. Hanumanji is a great devotee of Lord Ram. But at the time of Krishna, when Krishna appeared, he was there also. I was telling one story, I told this story in Baltimore. I will repeat the story here also. Hanumanji is a very, very humble and very powerful devotee. Actually, there are 11 Rudras. Rudras means Lord Shiva. 11 forms of Rudra, and he is the 11th one. He is the incarnation of Shiva to serve his Lord Ram. So, in generally we are puffed up because of too much sense gratification. Sense gratification, man's attraction for a woman, woman's attraction for man becomes one on the bodily conscious. He becomes attached to this miserable material body. He thinks, I am this body. So, three devotees, one Satyabhama, other Sudarshan Chakraji Maharaj, and third one Garudaji Maharaj. Mother Satyabhama used to think that I am very beautiful. Lord Sri Krishna always stays by my side, you know. This is ego. Krishna knows our hearts. I can hide from you something, you can hide from me. But we should remember this, we should mind it. I cannot hide anything from Krishna. You cannot hide anything from Krishna. Krishna is sitting right in your heart as a Paramatma. So, Krishna knows our feeling, willing, what we are thinking. So these three devotees, Satyabhama, Sudarshan, and Garudaji, they became little pro. Mother Satyabhama is thinking, I am so beautiful, Lord Krishna always stays by my side. And Sudarshanji is thinking that if I won't protect Krishna's Dwarka, then Krishna is going to be in difficulty. I protect Krishna's Dwarka. Third, Garudaji is thinking, if I won't carry Krishna around, he cannot go anywhere. But this is not true. So Krishna decided to help, because when we become pure devotee, and if the ego comes in us, Krishna will smash our ego. Krishna doesn't like ego in his devotees or in his followers. Generally, we become proud of our living and proud of our wealth, or proud of and so many things. Krishna doesn't like that. Krishna only like, if purpose of life is to attain Krishna. To attain Krishna, we have to become very, very humble. And as long as one is on the platform of sense gratification, he more and more comes to the bodily platform. I'm this body, let me enjoy this body. And ego is mentioned, chapter 3, verse 37 and verse 36. Arjuna is asking this question to Krishna. What is the reason if sometime Jiva unknowingly, not knowing, forcefully commits sinful activities? Though he doesn't want, but he is forced to commit sinful acts. He is asking this question to Krishna. So what is the reason for this? In the same chapter 3, verse 37, Lord Sri Krishna is answering. He is saying, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha, Kamesha Krodesha Rajogun Samudbhava, Mahachano Mahat Papma Vidiyenam Ki Varinam. Arjun, this is the lust which arises in contact with the material mode of passion and then turns into wrath, anger, and then attachment, and then greediness, and then false ego. We become egoistic. So, Lord called Sudarshan Chakra. He says, Sudarshan, make sure today nobody should come to my Dwarka. And then he called the Garudji. He said, you go and in such and such place, my devotee Hanuman is singing my glories. What Hanumanji was doing there? Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Raghupati Raghavi Raja Ram. Patita Pavan Sitaram. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Siya Ram. So Lord Krishna sent Garudaji to the Hanumanji, go and call Hanuman here. It's okay, Lord, I will go and call him. Garudaji flew there. Hanumanji was chanting the glories of his Lord Ram. He said, Krishna is calling you, let's go. He said, we can go, wait. No, hurry up. Because little ego was there. I told you, oh, no, hurry up, he's calling you. So the Hanumanji got little annoyed. He can't hold up, Garuda little, throw him in the sea. Then he came. When he came, that time he came to the Lord, and the Mother Satyabhama was sitting next to the Supreme Lord Krishna. So Hanumanji came. When Hanumanji was coming, Lord said to Satyabhama, no, I'm going to become Ram, and you can become Sita. Now, why I should become Sita? I'm okay as it is. It's up to you, but I told you, I'm going to become Ram. Immediately Krishna turned himself from Krishna to Ram. He became Ram. But he left his flute here, got the bow and arrow in his hand, but flute he didn't kept somewhere. So Hanumanji came, paid his obeisances. So then, in the form of Ram, Hanumanji inquired, my lord, where is Mother Sita? Who is this maid servant sitting next to you? Satyabhama said, I look maid servant, calling me maid. His ego was smashed. So then he said, Hanuman, when you were coming to my Dwarka, nobody stopped you? I said, yes. That he was moving, boom. Then what you did? He put him in his mouth. Yes, put him down. He's in my mouth. So Chakra's ego was also smashed. Lord has a conversation, nice. And now Hanumanji left. Then Garudji came, little. He came and said, my lord, you sent me to that naughty monkey? Oh, he's not well behaved. So then Lord said, oh, he came and met me and gone back. Oh, he came. So Hanumanji is a very dear to Lord Krishna, dear to Lord Ram. So we should all come to the shelter of Hanuman and pray for his mercy. Give us the devotion to Krishna. And Hanumanji is a son of Anjana Mata. There was one Apsara. She was cursed by one rishi, and she became she-monkey, Apsara, heavenly planet. And she was able to change her face, Once she was standing and beautiful wind was blowing. So wind god became a little attracted to Anjana Mata. And he embraced her. Who are you touching my hand, breaking my chastity? Then wind god said, I am wind god, I am giving you very beautiful son who will be very, very glorious. So she wanted a son, so then finished. When Hanumanji was young boy, so he was very hungry. And he was angry also. You know why he was angry? Anybody knows? Because he was hungry. And Mother Anjana, she said that she went to the forest to bring some fruits for her beautiful son. So Hanumanji was young and see his power. What happened? That Hanumanji, the sun was rising like just now. He said, there is some fruit. So he thought sun is a fruit something. He went up to sun and swallowed the sun. See the power of Hanumanji. Hanumanji is very, very powerful. There is one saying, बाल समेर विभक्ष कियो तब तीनों लोक भयो अंध्यारो कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो. When you were a little boy, you swallowed the sun. And then everybody prays to pray you, then you release the sun out of your mouth. So Hanumanji was very, very powerful. When he was young, he was going and, breaking the grass huts of saints and sages. Very naughty boy, Hanumanji. So saints in the dynasty of Angira Muni, they curse Hanumanji. Monkey, you are so proud of your power, we curse you will forget your power. Hanumanji forget. And when you will be reminded, then you will remember your power. So, Hanuman, he went to the Lanka, brought the news for Ram that he gave the message of Lord Ram to Mother Sita in the Ashok Vatika in Sri Lanka. So Hanumanji has done so many work for the demigods. When Lord Lakshman, the younger brother of Lord Ram, he became unconscious in the battle. So the doctor was brought from Sri Lanka. His name was Sushen. He was in his house. He brought the whole house before Lord Raman. He woke up, here I am. He said, you are here, okay. Why I am brought here? He said, he is unconscious, you have to cure him. He can be cured. We need one herb from the mountain. Mountain was on the Himalaya. So Hanuman said, I will go and get this herb. He said, how I can recognize this? He said, this herb has a light. When Hanumanji went there, on the way he met one Rakshasa, one demon. What was his name? Kalnemi. He was sent by Ravan that stop him, won't let him go. So Kalnemi became a saint, singing the glories of Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya. So Hanumanji came in. Hanumanji is a great devotee. So he said that he was traveling in the air, got down there, he said. Kalnemi in the shape of a saint, he said, you go and take a bath and I will give you the initiation. I will initiate you. So Hanumanji went to take bath in the lake. There was one crocodile. One lady, she was, I don't know her background, she was a heavenly lady. She was cursed to become a crocodile. So when Hanumanji was bathing, she caught hold of Hanuman's feet. And she was delivered from the crocodile form. She told Hanuman that this saint, he is not a saint, he is a Kalnemi demon. She told, and thank you very much for delivering me from this horrible life. I am going to the heavenly planet now. Hanuman came, Kalnemi, and caught hold of him. He said, what are you doing this? So I am giving you the Guru Dakshina. I said, but I only initiated you. I will give you Dakshina first, then you can initiate me. So he beat him up badly and Kanlami was finished by Hanumanji. Then Hanumanji reached the place where this Sanjeevani herb was there. He saw the whole mountains were shining. Then what to do? Which one to take, which one to leave? Then he picked the whole mountain, flying, and brought that mountain before the Lord. And this Sushant took the herb, and Lakshman's, unconsciousness was gone. So Hanumanji has so many beautiful, pastimes. When he went to Sri Lanka to find out about Mother Sita, then he was looking in Lanka everywhere, Mother Sita. While looking around, he found one house where on the wall there were symbols of Lord Vishnu, Shankh, Chakra, Gada, Padam. Then he was wondering, Hanumanji, this is the place of Rakshasas, and how come? Looks like this is a devotee house. And then Hanumanji came there, and Tulsi plant was also there. They happened to meet both Hanumanji and Bhavishan. This was the house of a Bhavishan. Bhavishan was a brother of Ravan, but he was a great devotee of Lord Ram. So when Bhavishanji met Hanuman, he was very pleasing. He immediately recognized him as a devotee of Ram. Devotee can recognize only devotee. If we are not devotee, then we cannot recognize. Or we don't have some pious credit, we can't recognize who's who. Sometimes in the guise of devotees, we will take non-devotee as a devotee. In India, there are two persons. They are both in a prison. One has 50 crores of disciples, 50 million. Other has, how many? 30 million disciples, just imagine. Both of them are in the prison now. They're working hard in the prison. So many people started following them. People couldn't recognize. Unless we are blessed by Mother Bhakti and we become devotee, we cannot recognize who's who. This sense of perception comes because of our pious credit. If we have some pious credit, then only Krishna will help us. If we don't have pious credit, then there will be no help. So by the mercy of Sri Krishna, I met Prabhupada, and in first meeting I recognized here is a great devotee and a great Vaishnava. And I was looking for his company. So, sense of perception comes when our heart becomes pure, free from lust, anger, greed, envy, aversion, false ego. And these things, as long as these things are there, Krishna may come and stand before us, we won't be able to recognize him. We will think he is an ordinary man. Example is that Lord Sri Krishna went to Duryodhana, the son of Dhritarashtra. Lord went to Duryodhana as a messenger of his devotee friend Arjun, and Arjun, Yudhishthira, Bhim, Nakul, Sahdev, 5 Pandavas. So Duryodhana went to Krishna, and then Vidurji has sent Arjun also to Krishna, because Vidurji came to know that this Duryodhana is gone for help from Krishna. because there is going to be fight among the brothers. And Duryodhana was thinking, I am going to the victorious. But devotees were always meek and humble. Now what happened that Duryodhana went first. That time Supreme Lord was taking rest. Then Arjun came, he sat near the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. And egoistic Duryodhana sat near the head of Krishna. When Krishna woke up, he said, Arjun, when did you come? Then Duryodhana said, no, I came first. I said, okay, yes. He said, we are going to fight now. Lord said, I told you, give them the 5 villages. You didn't agree to my proposal. It's up to you to fight. It shows that we are free in action. As you sow, so shall you reap. We should only please Krishna. We should not do anything else. So, Duryodhana and Arjun both are there. Duryodhana said, I came first, we want help from you, we are going to fight. Arjun also came for the same purpose. And then both of them come for help. So Krishna said, one side my whole army, Krishna has very big army. One side I will be alone. I won't accept any weapon. Duryodhana was going to ask, oh, I want your army. But to teach we foolish people, those who are attached to this miserable material world, Lord mentioned Duryodhana, Arjun is your younger brother, let him ask first what he wants. So foolish Duryodhana was thinking, now he will ask the army and he will be victorious. But Duryodhana, Arjun, what he asked from the Lord? He said, my Lord, I want you, I don't want your army. Duryodhana was very happy, oh, I got the army and I will be victorious. Then Duryodhana left. Lord Sri Krishna asked Arjun, Arjun, I gave you the opportunity to ask for my army. Why you ask me only? He said, what is the use of your army without you? I want you only. Devotees only want Krishna. They don't want anything. But Duryodhana is not a devotee. He is not able to recognize Krishna. But Arjun is a devotee. He is able to recognize Krishna. So, we should all head towards devotion to Sri Krishna. Without devotion, there is no emotion. Emotion is needed very much. No devotion, no emotion. Then only commotion. Then there will be no promotion to the spiritual world. One should remember this notion. No devotion, no emotion, only commotion, no promotion. One should remember this notion. So, this recognition comes if we have some pious credit, if we are devotee, otherwise we won't be able to recognize who's who. So, talking about death, that is inevitable and only Krishna can protect us. And Krishna's devotee, Hanumanji is a great devotee, and we can take the help from Hanuman to become a devotee of Krishna. He will bless us. And today is the day when Radha Kund appeared in bridge area, Radha Kund, today the appearance of Radha Kund, Bahulashtami, so many people go to Radha Kund to bathe. And today is the Balram Ras Yatra. Lord Balram has a Ras Yatra also in the bridge when he was with his younger brother Krishna. Today is that Ras Yatra. Ras Yatra का है कुछ तेरे पास? देखो अगर है तो दो. हैं? इंटरनेट से बोल रहा हूँ मैं निकालने के लिए. And then fourth is Krishna Basant Ras. कुछ है? Krishna Basant Ras are today also. Balram Ras Yatra, appearance of Radha Kund, Krishna Basant Ras. इसको पकड़ के रखो. ये बड़ा नहीं हो सकता? हाँ? नहीं? क्यों? Krishna performs Ras Leela of two varieties, one in the autumn season and one in the spring season. On Vaishak Purnima, Balram also perform Ras dance at this time. Lord Balram, in order to keep the gopis in Vrindavan satisfied, Lord Balram stayed there continually for 2 months, namely the months of Chaitra, and among the gopis, and he passed every night with them in the forest of Vrindavan. In order to satisfy their desire for conjugal love, thus Balram also enjoyed the rasa dance with the gopis during those 2 months. It's mentioned in the Krishna book, page 78. Krishna Prasanta Ras Yatra and appearance of Shyam Kunda. Shyam Kunda, Radha Kunda, oh sorry, appearance of not Shyam Kunda but Shyamananda Prabhu. Shyamananda Prabhu appearance. Shyamananda was a great devotee and he appeared today also. And appearance of Srila Bamsi Badan Thakur, appearance 2, Shyamanand and Bamsi Badan. Can you read there in English? You have that book? किसमें? हाँ ठीक है. दोनों का पढ़ो. हरि बोल.
श्यामानंद प्रभु.
You need mic? हैं?
ठीक है.
जोर से बोलो.
Sri Shyamanand made his appearance at Odisha in the village of Dharendra Bhadurpur. His father's name was Sri Krishna Mandal and his mother's name was Sri Durika. Sri Krishna Mandal had many sons and daughters who unfortunately passed away before the birth of this son. For this reason, this son was named Dukhiya. Everyone said that the child would be a very saintly person. The scholars were astounded to see his profound intellect. Within a short period, he completed his studies of grammar, poetry, and rhetoric. His parents were overjoyed to see his talents and his religious proclivity. After having carefully listened to the glories of Gauranga and Nityanand from devotees, he was able to repeat them to others. When listening to the activities of Gaurnitai or those of Radha and Krishna, tears would flow in waves from his eyes. He also devotedly served his parents and they told him to get initiated so that he could fully commit himself to the service of the Lord. Dukhi agreed and told them that he wished to take Diksha from Hriday Chaitanya, the disciple of Gauridas Pandit. His parents happily gave him permission to go there. When Dukhi arrived in Ambika Kalna, he threw himself at the feet of Hriday Chaitanya, who, upon learning his identity, happily gave him Krishna mantra and named him Krishna Das. Hriday Chaitanya ordered him to go to Vrindavan to study the literatures of the under the tutelage of Srila Jiva Goswami. Krishnadas bowed his head in assent and on the auspicious day he set out for the holy dham. In Vrindavan, Krishnadas studied the Vaishnava scriptures under Sri Jiva Goswami, who was the leading scholar of the Sampradaya. Krishnadas very carefully began to serve Srila Jiva Goswami as well as study the literatures of the Goswamis. Srinivas Acharya and Narottam Das Thakur also came to Sri Jiva at this time to study under him. Thus, Krishnadas had the opportunity to meet them. Krishnadas requested Srila Jiva Goswami for a special service. Sri Jiva instructed him to sweep the forest grove of Sevakunj every day. From that day, he began to carry out this service with great pleasure. He felt that his life had become successful. One day, Krishnadas was sweeping the Ras Mandal in Vrindavan, absorbed in ecstatic trance. Suddenly, by Radharani's transcendental mercy, he found her ankle bracelet lying on the ground. In his excitement, he touched the ankle bracelet to his forehead, where it left a mark. It is known as Nupur Tilak. When in Vrindavan, Krishnadas was given the name Shyamanand because he brought great joy to Shyam Sundar. Jiva Goswami sent Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur and Shyamanand back to Bengal with the Vaishnava scriptures. But the books were stolen by the Dacoit king. There, Srinivas Acharya Prabhu remained behind to recover the books while Narottam continued on towards Kheturi and Shyamanand proceeded to Ambika Kalna. Arriving there, Shyamanand paid his obeisances to his Guru and Sri Hriday Chaitanya Prabhu embraced him and inquired about the well-being of the Goswamis of Vrindavan. Shyamanand served the lotus feet of his Guru in great happiness and in this way passed the days. At this time, most of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya in Odisha had all left the planet. Thus, the preaching of Mahaprabhu's teachings had all come to a halt. Hriday Chaitanya Prabhu considered this a very serious problem and finally instructed Shyamanand Prabhu to go there to carry on the preaching of Mahaprabhu's mission. Shamanand set out for Odisha. After entering Odisha, he first went to his birthplace at Dharendra Bhadrapur. From there, he came to Dandeshwar, where his father, Sri Krishna Mandal, had previously resided. By the auspicious festival of Shamanand Prabhu, by the auspicious arrival of Shamanand Prabhu in Utkal, the teachings of Mahaprabhu revived. On the banks of the Suvarn Rekha river lived one pious and devoted landholder by the name Sri Achyut Dev. His only son was called Rasik. From his very childhood, Rasik was very devoted to Lord Krishna. As he gradually attained the appropriate age, his father engaged some Pandit to see to his education. However, he did not have much regard for material knowledge. He had already ascertained that the greatest goal in life is devotion to Lord Hari. Rasik became anxious to take shelter at the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. One day, as he was sitting alone, contemplating on the subject, when he heard a divine voice, Rasik, don't be in anxiety anymore. Very soon, a very great personality of the name Shamanand will arrive here. Just take shelter of his lotus feet. Hearing this, Rasik was encouraged and took to continuously waiting and watching for the arrival of Prabhu Shamanand. After a few days, Shamanand Prabhu, accompanied by his disciples, came to the village of Rohini. Shamanand Prabhu initiated Rasik. Many people of Rohini also became disciples of Shamanand Prabhu. From here, Sri Shamanand Prabhu went to Sri Narsimhapur, where many atheists lived. But when Shamanand stayed a few days, these atheists got the chance to hear his nectarian talks, which melted their hard hearts in love for Krishna. Thus, in this place also, he gained many disciples. Day by day, the glories of Shamanand spread throughout Utkal Desh. From Narsinghpur, he came to Gobilabhupur. Here again, many well-to-do people were attracted to his lotus feet and so took shelter there. The people here especially requested him to install the Shri Vigraha of Radha Krishna. Thus, a temple for the deity was constructed. The greatness of Shamanand became known throughout all of Odisha, and the worship of Sri Gaur Nityanand was inaugurated in many places. Shamanand's disciples have established 5 principal seats in the town of Dharendra, Bhadurapur, Rayani, Gobibhalapur and Narsinghpur.
The Shamananda was so pure that a mother, universal mother, blessed him, with her beautiful Nupur. So when we become humble, then we get the blessings of Guru, Gaurang, Nityanand and Radha and Krishna. Humbleness can only come when we practice detachment from this miserable material world and try to attach ourselves with Krishna. Then we will come close to Krishna. As long as I am attached to this material world, I am away from Krishna. Because spiritual world is anti-matter. Material world is a matter. Here everything is temporary, in the spiritual world everything is permanent. Our soul is permanent. To elevate that soul we have come in this body, and message of Srila Prabhupada is that one day we are going to face the death and a very big examination, If I lose some little things, I lost this. At the time of death, I am going to lose everything behind, everything. Nothing is going to go with me. I want to speak of other things, but it is the body I am going to leave behind. So, That time only Krishna can help. Nobody can help. So during our lifetime, we should understand which is our real interest. Jab jage tab svela, whenever we arise, there is a daytime, try to become Krishna conscious, try to cultivate Krishna consciousness and come close to Krishna. Thank you very much and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare. Any question, any comments anybody has? Raise your hand. No question here, anybody? You have any question in internet? No. You send a message to everyone? Okay, Hare Krishna.